My mind's going blank now.
What's happening?
I can't remember.
I'm gonna lose track.
My mind's going blank now.
What are you talking about?
What the hell's going on here?
Where the hell are we?
My mind's going blank now.
I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here?
My mind's going blank now.
Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm in prison. Where am I? No idea. Last night on the television, I was on a telephone rapidly rising and with I don't know. COVID has taken more than 100 years. Look, here's lives reflected in the NHDI. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was on the foot in the brigade of seize the ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. Let me make near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway.
My mind's going blank now.
What's happening?
I can't remember.
I'm gonna lose track.
My mind's going blank now.
What are you talking about?
What the hell's going on here?
Where the hell are we?
My mind's going blank now.
I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here?
My mind's going blank now.
Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm in prison. Where am I? No idea. I don't think as the idea that the political coverage of I want to thank and recognize Dr. John Kingersong. Good song. I can't get this to function at all.
My mind's going blank now.
What's happening?
I can't remember.
I'm gonna lose track.
My mind's going blank now.
What are you talking about?
What the hell's going on here?
Where the hell are we?
My mind's going blank now.
I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here?
My mind's going blank now.
Where am I headed? I keep forgetting I'm in prison. Where am I? No idea. No idea.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming, it's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Merry Christmas and welcome back, folks. The 17th of December, 2020. Folks, Merry Christmas to one and all, and welcome from around the world to my home here in central Pennsylvania. Artie says, does it look like I hang out with musicians? You played trunk at your wedding. Tracy said, what was that song? Which one? Giselle or My Mind's Going Blank? Or what song was played at his wedding? Yeah, no, Giselle back in 2020 said she was writing a song for an intro for my program, and we never did get it. I've tried lots of songs, and y'all reject them all the time. I've tried songs that are not copyrighted. I could just, I've done you see the music that plays in the beginning intro there. But like many channels that I'm not trying to emulate, but larger channels that have hundreds of thousands and millions of viewers, starting the program instantaneously is not beneficial for a live broadcast. It takes time for people to rock up for YouTube to get the notification out. So it makes sense to get around to the meat of the business several minutes or a few minutes into the program. So I do need more music for the start. But I have to have music that won't result in a copyright strike. YouTube is very promiscuous and very persnickety when it comes to copyright. They don't protect my copyrighted material, but they'll protect things that aren't copyrighted, which is kind of irritating. I've got a piece of hair hanging down there from my beard. Anyway, so yeah, don't worry. The Kiffness is going to need your support pretty soon. Why will the Kiffness need my support? David Scott doesn't talk to me. I asked to interview him in his group in 2020, and they told me to get fucked. So I don't think David Scott will be on my program anytime soon. I have no beef with him. They just had no interest in coming on my program. Yeah. Anyway, so my program sits in an odd space. I'm not South African. I don't claim to be South African. I'm not African. I don't claim to be African. But I've spent more of my life living and working in Africa than most Africans have been alive. So anyway. But it's an odd situation with a US IP address and my content not being promoted. But, so I sit in an odd space in the content creator realm. But anyway, it's not a problem. We're here to get as much out there as we can for as many people as we can and make it as informative and hopefully entertaining at times as it can be. That's what it's all about. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome back. I am fresh from last night playing the role of Santa Claus. What I did yesterday is I went out and I made sure the day before that we got the cash out sent to Leah Minar. And Leah's daughter has collected the money today, this morning. What an epic journey for her. She wasted over 2 hours at the bank trying to get the money from MoneyGram. Not sure what the deal was. But she did confirm to me earlier that she had gotten the money successfully and deposited into her mother's account. An account protected, not one that's affected by the bank card. So she has gotten the money. And so I'm going to read this message. Leah, are you here? I'm going to read this. I don't think it embarrasses you. So it says, "Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the very kind thing you've done for me. The money's a lifesaver. I don't go around and tell people, but this. Okay. Oh wow. My goodness. A person doesn't know appreciation until you lost everything. Well, I won't read the rest. It's very personal, but thank you for that, Leah. Yeah, folks. Let me just tell you this based on what I just read there, and my video calls with her daughter. What you all did at my clarion call to help raise some funds for her really is a big deal. It's not a minor thing. It really is a big deal, and you've helped. You've I don't know, maybe restored some people's faith in humanity. I'm not sure, but thank you all so much for that. The money that we raised. Now, unfortunately, the money grubbers at MoneyGram gave a much lower exchange rate than the current exchange rate. It was less than 17 Rand to the dollar, so they gobbled up 1,000 Rand. I sent her 10,000, but with the exchange rate they used, it turned to a little over 9,000. But she was robbed of 9,000 Rand, and that's been replaced now. So thank you all for what you did contributing to the program. I really grateful for that. So that was over the weekend, and then the money was collected today because, of course, yesterday was Gelofte Dag, the Reconciliation Day, a national holiday in South Africa, public holiday. So the banks weren't open. The MoneyGrams apparently weren't open either. So that was collected today, and congratulations to everybody who participated in that. Really do appreciate that. And for those who came over from Ronaldo Groot's program, thank you for that as well. Now, last night, I played the role of Santa Claus. Many of you remember that I actually ran for office. In fact, I'm going to probably, where's that ad at? Let me see if I've got that here. Documents. Where did I put that at? I wonder where I put that at. So, there we go. District, maybe it's here. And there's Ant's membership. Thank you, Ants. I do appreciate your continued support for the program. I'm looking for my video. It's somewhere. I don't know where it's at. It's somewhere here. Anyway, I'm going to start showing the video show it occasionally because I thought I did a pretty good job in it. But also, Lee Greenwood won't give me a copyright strike. It'll just be a copyright claim. I've discovered already, so that won't be a problem. I'll be able to play that song, but my campaign song. So yeah, I went around the district, the 92nd Congressional District of Pennsylvania yesterday, which is where I ran as a candidate earlier this year. I went all over the district, and I went to those who volunteered to help with my campaign to deliver Christmas presents to all of them. I went out and purchased gifts for all of my supporters who actually worked on my campaign. And I started in the very northern tip of the district, which is a bit of a drive, got over there. And the folks whom worked for me on the campaign weren't present. They weren't at home, but their son was, who's a soldier in the National Guard, the Pennsylvania National Guard. He was deploying to Djibouti when I was running for office earlier this year. He did his deployment. He's back now, so I met him, and I gave the gift and said, please pass it to your parents. From there, I drove to visit a volunteer on the far eastern side of the district who was very helpful for me, very nice lady, originally from New York City, and she lives in a very nice neighborhood that was actually a place where a lot of votes came from me, upper middle class neighborhood. So I rang her doorbell. Her car was parked outside. The lights were out, no answer. The dogs went crazy. I waited a few minutes, rang it again, and started leaving. I heard some rustling, and she came to the door half asleep. I had woken her up. I felt very guilty for that, but she said, don't worry about it. They've got me a night shift now, so I'm working at night. So I had to get up anyway in a few minutes. So, okay, thank you. I gave her a gift. She was very grateful. From there, I went to visit a younger volunteer who lives with his aunt and uncle, and they also were major supporters of my campaign. Took care of them, then went back, took care of another supporter and his wife, and then over to the veterans organization to touch base with folks there. Left there, and then caught the last of my helpers. There was one other helper whom I've delivered a nicer gift a few weeks ago. And so that leaves just one of the people who worked on my election team. It was a small team, but I do appreciate the help that these folks gave, and so I delivered gifts to them. So I thought it was the least I could do is remember them at Christmas time this year. So anyway, that's what I did yesterday, and so we're all out of good deeds for now. We're all out of good deeds. African Idiot just gave 700 Rand Super Chat. Wow, thank you, man. Thank you so much. It's a Salty Cracks December. That really helps. Now, it's not going to look like a Salty Cracks December because all the money we raise for Leia is going to make my income for YouTube look pretty big for the month, but it's not really. That money was for her. Thank you so much for that Super Chat. I do appreciate that. You know, I meant to put a goal up here. They've got a new thing here on YouTube. So 10 Super Chats. I'll host a Okay, so they've got a new thing. It just came on today. They never tell folks to do this. Okay, so I'm going to start a goal, and it'll come up, a Super Chat goal. African Idiot already beat me to the punch, so I won't count towards that, but thank you for that. So, yeah, so Super Chat colors that count. Okay, so I'm going to start the goal, and it's 30 minutes. All right, so the next 30 minutes, we're trying to get 10 Super Chats that are $5 or more. It's something new. It's a new game they're playing with YouTube. They should have done this years ago. Let's see how it works, if it actually pays off. And African Idiot says, thanks for caring about other humans. No, it's my pleasure. And Ant says, yay for Leah with his 41-month membership on this channel. Thank you for that. Yeah, Tracy, the problem with AI, I have to check into it, but that Christmas in Africa song, I'm getting a copyright claim for it now. I'm getting a copyright claim for that song. I don't know how it's copyright claim because the artist he had 2 subscribers when I subscribed, and you can't monetize a channel unless you've got 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours content viewed in the trailing 12 months. So I don't know how the channel's monetized and how that can be claimed. I suspect the AI engine that generated it is claiming the copyright. I don't know. I have to research it. So before I delve into the AI thing, I really need to find out more because I don't need these copyright claims. I already get them with Giselle's music, and that's real music. But thank you. We'll have to take a look at that. So Val Cooper says, back in a bit. Charles Van Altselen, I am goed. Yeah. Okay. Monray Siebertson from Cape Town. James Bowie. Eric is here. And Dylan Combrick as always. Okay. Paulie is in as well. Pablo Charlie's back. Boom Erasmus. And then we get Charles Van Altselen. Arctic says, can we get new intro music? I'd love to have new intro music. I'll keep looking for something. I think maybe I'll just play that song. I'll put a bunch of video to it, make it a longer entrance, or just play a video. That's going to take some thought. But the song that I use for this short intro is actually, I have the copyright from YouTube. So, yeah, that's a good song. I like it. All right, Neville Purdon is here. Chris Ehlers is back. What's this? Knee Barbara Knee. Okay. Knee Barbera. Okay, not Barbaric. Sorry, I said Barbara. Teresa, welcome to you. And then who else we got there? If I missed anybody, Tracy Wolf, welcome to you. Gus. Okay. And who else we got there? Meerkat is back as long as it's not hip-hop. Well, that intro there's kind of like hip-hop or rap, so not really. Chantel's back. Hello, Chantel. Christo Els is here. And then Janet Liddy's in from South Carolina. Leovan Janssen from Rendsborg, saving Super Chats for Santa's birthday. No, it's okay, Leovan. It's okay. So Ronaldo will have a new e-begging tool at his disposal. It's the goal, the Super Chat goal. There's one. There's 1 out of 10. We get the ball rolling, says Erica. Thank you, Erica. But wow, there you go. You have to listen to Karen Husselman's songs. I got her telephone number. Karen Husselman. Okay, I don't know who that is. So you're right. I have to listen to it. Karin Hussel. Karen Husselman, singer. Oh, Carlene. Ooh, she looks kind of attractive. Got a bit of a long nose. Singing hot Fanyal. Okay. I don't know her. What does her music sound like, I wonder? Let's see. Here's my heart. Probably going to get an ad. It's going to go to YouTube. Yep. And there's an ad. Of course there's an ad. There's always an ad. YouTube monetizes everything. Okay, why is it not jumping forward? There we go. God, YouTube is very slow today. All right, I kind of like that. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, so I'll have to check into that. Yeah, pass me the contact. I'd be happy to. Yeah, if I get so. Yeah, Vilma, thank you for that. Who else we got here? An Arc Precision's back. Flower of Scotland, stunning. Okay, always 2 ads on my side. Greetings. Okay, let's let me guys say. And Eric said, "Let's get the ball rolling." It's something new. I think Ronaldo will love it now, especially in his post Parliament career. He needs to raise a little bit of money, so he needs it. I just posted a video. Is it up? Let me see if YouTube has finished inspecting it yet. They took like 25 minutes to check it, which is nonsense. There's nothing that. Yep, it's already got 15 views. So there's a new video up. Let me see with Juju. It's the incredibly shrinking Teletubby. The inevitable demise of the EFF. Yeah, I should have said inevitable. I called it Malema and the Malcontents, South Africa's rapidly shrinking economic freedom fighters. So got 15 views already and no comments. So I suspect it might just be people who are watching this program who've been viewing it. So let me get to where we at. Come on. There we go. Here's a link to it so you can check it out later on. Paste. There you go. That's the link to that video. So I just posted that video. 87 people currently here. Welcome, everybody. Merry Christmas to all of you. Contact Kurt. Who? Kurt Darren? Kalfoot Soki? Yeah, he's vanishing fast. That's correct. All right, let's get to heavy weather. We're at ARC. Let's get to the Hello Kitty Advents calendar today. And it's the 17th now. We're just 8 days from Christmas. Arctic African Idiot gave another 140. Just testing the goal thing. Yeah, there you go. There's 2 out of 10. Thank you for the 140 Rand, Arctic. That's very kind of you. All right, so where was that? 17. Oh, that was easy to find. It's the first one I actually had an easy time finding. Of course, there's very few days left on here. That's making it less of a challenge. That just says Hello Kitty again, so nothing special there. Okay, that's that one. Hello Kitty is down. Let's go to the Aldi Advents calendar. Boy, next year I'm going to gain 30 pounds if I have this many calendars, I'm sure. There's 17 out here. Oh, it's a lot more fun when they're easy to find. It looks like a fish, and it is. It's a portly fish. A little chubby fishy. All right, that takes care of that one. Let's go to the Lidl. Get through this much faster than when we first started this. Okay, 17 up here at the top. Go. And it's just a little old-fashioned Model T sort of car. Okay. And now on to the T, which some people really enjoy, but I haven't found a single one that I really like so far. This is 17th is today. Okay, so let's put that back there. These Advents calendars back where they belong. On this side, out of my way. All right. So, chocolate chai black tea. Now, the problem I have with this is that's just silly. You know, people who run around and say chai tea, it's just silly. Do you know why? Chai is Swahili and Arabic for tea. Chai just means tea. So what you're saying is it's chocolate tea, black tea. Chocolate tea, black tea. Just saw Loving Life trying to trash you, says Bernie Bowers. Why is he trying to trash me? I'm not even talking about the guy. What's this? Yeah, could you tell me, Bernie Bowers, a little bit more? I'm curious. Inquiring minds want to know. Why is the guy trying to trash me? I mean, it's not like I have 100,000 subscribers like Loving Life. Oh, wait, they don't have 100,000 either. Yes, E-Beggars the World Unite, this goal thing, it's right there. I mean, Ronaldo's going to love that, man. That's going to be awesome. It just popped up. Now, when I set up this stream, it was there. I said, let me try it and see how it works. And I assumed it would start when the program started. But no, it started right then before the program was even live. You could super chat. I'm like, that's silly. So I canceled it, and we're trying it again. Erica's birthday. Please not Kurt Darren. Only song is Capitan Spandi Sela. It's bustling in Pretoria East. Huge storm. Oh, busy hailing. Sorry, I thought it said bustling. Busy hailing. Well, Tracy, that sucks. Hail in the summertime, especially. The red jelly dot apparently has a slow puncture. Is which doctor this morning? You got your begging bowl for Christmas? I have not. I have not. Overcast weather. Yep. Okay. Heavy weather. Okay. So there you go. All right. What's going on with Charles and Arctic? What are you guys doing now, man? Just get some Druvus and chill out, guys. Eat some Druvus and just chill. did that the other day. It was actually pathetic. Yeah, well, I don't know because I don't watch the program. He and his 4,500 followers. Yet, isn't it ironic for someone that once had 100,000 subscribers to attack me? Remember, he attacked me, oh, his little channel, nobody watches it. And of course, that was when my channel had 7,000 subscribers. Now it has over 20,000. Of course, that ignored the fact that I had a 20,000 plus channel that was removed and has been restored since. And is also above 20,000. But anyway, anyway, people shoot themselves in the foot. I didn't shoot myself in the foot. I was targeted. He intentionally antagonized the bull. Winter Wonderland. Oh, is Hendo got some snow too up there in the UK? Juju's real name is Sellotape. Sellotape, that's funny. Is an American football really transball? I have no idea what that means. What do you mean transball? I have no idea what you're talking about there, Tony Nage. That's some sort of joke that I'm not in on. By the way, another school shooting here in America. And this one, the media is either covering up or refusing to acknowledge the fact that there have already been allegations that this is another transgender person who murdered people at a Christian school. It's unbelievable. The ball is round. The ball is not round in American football. So I don't. Tony's telling jokes that I don't get. Sorry, I don't understand it, Tony. I'm not being difficult. Chantel says, I love Steve Hoffmeyer. Maybe a song from him. Well, yeah, but Steve, I've never asked Steve to make a song for my program. I don't think he would do that anyway. It's plus, I mean, you know, imagine the hate I'd get with a Steve Hoffmeyer opening song. You should use the Sapphire's version of Rains of Africa, originally by Toto. I've never heard a South African version of that. If it was your background, wouldn't feel like Christmas. Wouldn't have the Christmas vibe, says Debbie. Yeah, the background's pretty cool. I do put some effort into that. I hope you guys enjoy it. There is the manger at the top over there, the creche. And then below that, we've got the snowmen. And then we've got Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, although his nose doesn't look very red from here. It looks brown. It's red. Then we've got the countdown. And then down here, we've got like a little bear, a polar bear nutcracker. Of course, the lights are all around. And we got the snowman here behind me. Over on the other side, we've got the traditional Dutch house here with each of the days of Christmas on there. Then up the top, we've got that Christmassy house. And yeah, got some trolls down on the shelf. So yeah, cool. Get Steve for a talk along. Yeah, Ark, I've had Steve on the program before. August of 2020, he was on my program, and I've asked him to come on the program, I think 3 times since then. He begged off once, then he kind of just ignored my message the second 2 times. That, despite the fact that Steve and I have a good rapport, and we chat about other things, and I send him links occasionally, and he comments on my videos. I know Steve watches my content, but Steve has got to, he's got to walk I don't want to say a fine line, but he's got to walk a very clear line about how he engages. He's doing YouTube stuff now, which I don't know if how he got encouraged by that. Maybe I encouraged him to. I don't know, but yeah, he. So I'm not, Steve's a friend. I don't want to jeopardize a friendship by, asking or demanding something of someone that they're not obliged to provide. So what's up with the drones? Do you know if it's Project Blue Bean? I don't know what Project Blue Bean is, but I've talked about the drones extensively for the past few weeks, and I've actually been reporting on this drone issue for well over a year. I've been talking about this because the drones have been flying over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia next to Norfolk for ages, and nothing has been done about it. I reported on it. Nobody cares. I don't have the reach of Crowder or Tim Pool or any of those people, so nobody pays attention. Those people get to go on Fox News and other things, and they don't know what they're talking about, but they go on there. I actually know what I'm talking about, and I don't get on there. So, people ignored this story. Then I also reported on our air bases like Lake and Heath and Molesworth being buzzed by drones in the United Kingdom. Nobody cared about that story 2 months ago. Now everybody cares because there's sightings over New Jersey. I don't have answers for you. I may have to take a trip to New Jersey just to spot these things at night. So, yeah. You'd get no hate from opening Steve. Well, that's not true, Neville. I've been threatened. My life has been threatened. And my livelihood has been threatened. I've been threatened with fraudulent detention and arrest by leftist scumbags who purportedly reported me to the South African Human Rights Commission because I like Steve Hoffmeyer. They fabricated some allegation against me. So it's not true. It's not true. There are evil people out there. Yeah, evil people out there. So you have to keep that in mind. Juanita Duplessis. Well, I reached out to Juanita Duplessis and got no response trying to interview her in 2020, along with Ruan Josh and Franya. Oh, there's Rob Thompson going for the goal. Thank you, Robert. That's 3 out of 10. Wow, we got 3 out of 10. And I don't know how much time is left on that goal. Let me see that. Let me see. It ends in 16 minutes. So we're halfway through and we got 3. So we're a little bit short. Just heard about it recently all over the news now. Media creating mass hysteria again. Yeah, no, well, it is yes and no, Tracy. There is something clearly going on here. First off, we have a negligent administration that does not fulfill its job protecting the United States. Remember the balloon that flew over America? That's when I was in South Africa. But it flew for weeks over America. It came over the Pacific and down the West Coast and across the Plain States. And the U.S. officials just watched it. They did nothing to it. It was an intelligence collection device from the Chinese Communist government, and they watched it collect over our missile bases, over everything. That one won't count, Monray. It's got to be $5 equivalent. So $5 is, you probably got to do over 100 Rand in order to reach that. So, yeah, well, 99 will work because Robert's counted. So 99.99, 100 Rand will get you there. 14 isn't going to do it, Monray. They've got this e-begging thing down to an art, does YouTube finally. Imagine if they had stuff like this, 20 years ago, how much money they would have generated. But yeah, so that balloon flew all the way across the United States, across our sensitive nuclear reactors in parts of the country, over our missile sites in the Plain States, the Dakotas, and all the way down over military bases like Norfolk on the East Coast, over D.C., and went over the Atlantic. And then finally they sent an aircraft up to shoot it down. Absolutely ridiculous. I know a police officer was a drone specialist here, and he has to go to Lakenheath. Okay, Fleshin, thank you for that. See, that's part of the story. Actually, I've been flying drones since 2014, and I have been dealing with unmanned aerial vehicles since 1989. Actually, 1990, I should be correct. 1990. Yep. My grandkids, Finn and Jackie, are safe for my birthday celebration. By the way, Erica, did you mention yesterday it was your birthday? So I'm going to put a cake up here. I don't recall if you did. Were you even here yesterday? I'm trying to remember. Yesterday's just kind of a blur for me. Just kind of because we had 2 broadcasts yesterday. So let me see. This is where it's at. It's going to be here. Where is it at? We're going to put a cake up. So happy birthday to Erica. So, yeah, no, Charles, Donald Trump gave his first press conference yesterday. Did you see an interview or the press conference? His press conference yesterday was brilliant. It was one of the best press conferences he's ever done. It was wonderful. He actually even, he said that the media have actually been fair of late, which is somewhat true. So Trump is playing nice, and people are playing nice to Trump, and everybody's trying to kiss the ring. It was a fantastic press conference. We covered part of it here on the program yesterday. Epic Times, U.S. government says drones are lawful aircrafts. Yeah, I've seen that article. I have a subscription. Thank you, Jax. Yeah, they say that they're lawful, but that's not true at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which I reported on a few days ago because it just happened on the 13th of December, I believe it was, and what happened at Norfolk, or at Langley down in Virginia. That's simply not true. That may be the case over New Jersey, but we have a serious problem with things flying over military bases and restricted airspace. In fact, if you listen to the air traffic control from Wright-Patterson, let me see if I can find that air traffic control. There's Monray Seabritz, greedy little e-beggar, K. Ronaldo syndrome. No, I'm just trying it out to see what happens. Thank you for that 140 Rand, Monray. Let me see if I can find that. Wright-Patterson, right. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. Key U.S. Air Force Base closed airspace amid drones. I was trying to get the audio on it. Mystery drone shut down Ohio Air Force Base. Terrifying moment air traffic controllers. Now, this one's from a day ago, even though this happened. Terrifying moment air traffic controller warns pilots about heavy drone activity at U.S. base in Midwest. Yeah, I'm trying to see if we've got the audio. Let me see. Let me see if this plays. Hang on. I don't know if it's news or...
I don't have anything beyond that. We're tracking this very closely. Obviously, we're all aware of the incidents that have been reported. I'm not going to go into what they could be or could not be.
Okay, now it's just a video, so... Yeah, that's not helpful. I was looking for the actual ATC recording. See if we can come up with that. It was here somewhere. Anyway, it's a shame. It's really good audio. I don't have it handy, so my apologies for that. But yeah, that was a really good audio. So, yeah. Anyway, Thanks to the now 92 people currently here. We have a little contest going on. The birthday cake is for Erica. Happy birthday. You guys can say happy birthday to Erica. There you go. So, by the way, folks, I mean, if you're ever curious about this, you should, seriously. Just, listen to the following message. This is brought to you by the children of the world.
A fucking goat outside.
It's just a goat.
No. It's a fucking goat.
That will never get old. That will never get old. Anyway, Jose da Silva's here. Welcome to you. Who else? Tracy says, yeah, people believe the fake news. Obviously, it was a threat. The U.S. military would have been deployed long ago. No, Tracy, that's not true. That's not true. The Biden regime has left us defenseless. They have stripped our arsenals of 155 artillery rounds. They are stripping us of Patriot missile batteries and missiles. They are stripping us now of our ATACMS missiles. We are going to be largely left without munitions and defenseless against the Chinese communists here very soon. This is intentional. They have spent us into oblivion. They have undermined our borders and allowed tens of millions of criminal alien invaders to come in our country. They have allowed Chinese spy drones to fly over our country. We have found hundreds of Chinese spies at our universities and our technical institutions, while the government has done nothing to prosecute most of them. They do an occasional one just, to show like they're trying to do something. But no, you say the military would do something. No, not if they've been ordered to stand down. And apparently that's what's been happening. So, yeah. If it doesn't involve ice cream, Brandon doesn't know. That's right. Why does Chris have so many moderators? I don't have many moderators, Pablo Charlie. What do you mean by so many moderators? I see 3 moderators in the chat. 3. And only one of them is active. Erica has difficulty being a moderator ever since her strokes, and so it's difficult for her to do that task. And to be fair, Erica always had trouble being a moderator. She was quick on the button. Hendo is the original moderator here, not the first, but one of the original ones. The other one was that Kyle ZA who disappeared. And Jax became a moderator a long time ago, but Jax is rarely here. So Star's mistaken report is drones. I've yet to see a star fly at 100 miles an hour and do a 90-degree direction turn. Yep. Thank you. Spent the weekend in the bush surrounded by animals. Okay, Jose, that's interesting. Today is my baby son's birthday, a whole 54 years old, says Val. Okay, well, let's put a cake up for your son, baby boy, 54. All right, where's the cake at? And this one is for Val's son, okay? Very quick on the button. Who's very quick? Pablo Charlie. Okay, I'm going to entertain this for a moment, but I don't know what you're talking about. Who is quick on what button? All right, so once again, we are buffering on my end. So what's going on here, YouTube? That's not what I want. I want this to be, where's the damn studio? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. No wonder. I'm looking at the video I just published. That ain't going to work. I need to see the studio. There we go. Okay. So, I think there might be a YouTube problem here. Well, I've got 4 of those now. And how much time is left? We've got 8 minutes and a half minutes. So we're still live. Yep. Okay, cool. Yep. Happy birthday to your son. There you go. Okay, we'll take the cake down. We won't give him the goat. Leave the Kool-Aid alone. All right. So, by the way, Pablo Charlie, several viewers have consistently asked for you to be blocked on this channel. You've not been blocked. So keep that in mind. You talk about people quick on the trigger. You've not been blocked, and I prevented that. So, don't stir something that isn't there. Okay, 61 likes. Wow, that's pretty cool. We got 61 likes already. That's awesome. Okay, we haven't even got to the news, and people are liking it. So, hey, folks, Merry Christmas to you. By the way, I got a cool deal. I know Arctic doesn't like them, but the World Rugby Shop, when I purchased all that stuff for $100, they sent me a $25 off code so I can buy something. Hey, there's Debbie with another one, 140 Rand. That's going to take us to 5 of the 10. So, yeah, they sent me this card with $25 off for the World Rugby Shop. Which is pretty cool. I might actually use that if I go looking for a jersey. I like that Ireland jersey. Need something for the Six Nations. Maybe a new Scotland jersey. Anyway, so that came with the kit that came the other. Actually, that one came in the mail. It didn't come with the kit. I'm sorry. That was mailed to me. Yes, to my house. Yep. Oh, what's going on? Oh, it's killing me here. Something wrong. All right. So another rainy day in the UK, says Hendo. All right. Hendo, we need to go back to that German place, man, and relax, have a few beers, maybe I'll spend a night in the pool or something like that. I cannot see his messages. There you go. You can block them. If typing was talking, there's a guy here who loves the sound of his voice. That's a pretty good one. All right, let's get to the news, folks. So Jacob Zuma says he's willing to sell his own cattle to finance the MK party's legal case in the vote rigging. The election deniers in South Africa remain in full force. That is, of course, the MK party, who just can't believe that they didn't win nationally. Well, nobody cares about your party except Zulu by and large, although they are increasing their voter support base outside of Zulu Bastion now. But this is comical for them to think that they won outright around the country or even in KZN. They did, like I predicted, quite well, but he says he's willing to use his own cattle to pay for it. Wow, suddenly you're going to use your own money. Of course, it's probably stolen money. The man had no money. He's illiterate, never accomplished anything. The only salary he ever had was coming from the ANC or the government. But Jacob Zuma doubled down on MK Party's resolution to prove that the 29 May general elections were rigged. John Schlope said the party will fulfill its mission of truly liberating black people. I'm sorry. So the murder of 5,000 white South Africans on farms and, full voting rights, full economic rights, complete control of the government, that's not enough for you? What liberation do you want? What does liberation look like for you? What does it look like? You're all caters. You all have opulent mansions in Sandton and in the Western Cape and the wine district. Is that what liberation looks like to these scumbags? What black liberation? Black people were liberated a long time ago. Black people need to be liberated from the likes of Jacob Zuma, Julius Malema, Cyril Ramaphosa, the ANC, the EFF, the African Transformation Movement, and MK. That's what black people need to be liberated from. The garbage of these clowns who are just thieves. That's all they are. They steal people's ideas. They steal their life. They steal their freedom. They steal their money. They are just thieves. No, Tracy, it's not Elon Musk. No. Looking out for election results, Mozambique. Last night, the leader of the opposition mentioned the results will determine. Mozambique already voted. What are you talking about, Jose? Is there another election now been scheduled? There's virtually no news on Mozambique. I've been searching high and low for news. I've downloaded a lot of videos of the terrific violence. Did anybody watch that absolutely horrific video of protesters blocking the street and an army vehicle gunning its engine and running down to knock down this little makeshift barrier and running over a woman? Oh, it was horrible. Apparently she survived. Her neck wasn't broken. All she had was some bruises, and unbelievable. They ran over. That's insane. Absolutely insane. But that was a horrible video. I'm not going to ever show that video. YouTube would censor me anyway for showing it, but I couldn't possibly show that horrific sort of thing. Yeah, it is horrific what's happening in Mozambique. There's almost no news on it. So, Jose, what are you talking about elections on the 23rd? They had elections back in September. Vilma saw that video. Haven't tuned in for a bit. Have you seen Musk involve himself in a bit in UK politics? How is he doing that, Oliver? The UK is involved him in politics. They have demanded that he appear before a parliamentary committee. They're interfering in his business model. So how is he interfering in the UK? I'm a little bit lost. Anyway, so Zuma says there's Janet Liddy with $10. Ooh, Janet. Woohoo. There you go. 327 left on the goal. Let me go back and see how many. I think there's 5 now. 5 super chats. We've got 6, and we've got 3 minutes and 16 seconds left for people to contribute. Okay, continue. All right. Okay. Oh, I don't want to send a super chat. What's that? I send a super chat myself. That means they take 30%. That's just silly. No results apparently, Justin, will be announced. Thank you for that, Jose. Adjusted. That's interesting. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but yeah, this election was. It appears from all publicly available information that it was not legitimate. Unfortunately, we didn't have many observers there, the rest of the world, so it's difficult to say. But it seems highly unlikely that Frelimo continued to win this election. Oliver just wanted my opinion. My opinion, CB is donated. And that's 35 Rand. Let me see if that pushes the needle. Let me see. Hang on. That's 7 out of 10. That one worked. So 35 Rand apparently will do it. Wow. That's not $5. How did that? YouTube's cheating. That's not $5. 35 Rand isn't $5. That's $1.50. Come on, man. They're just cheating me here. Thank you, CB, for the super chat. No, Oliver, my opinion is that the United Kingdom's government is illegitimate. That the system that exists allowed for the liberals to basically hijack the government, and they believe they have a mandate now when they didn't receive even a majority of votes. So the Liberal Party, based on the way the constituents are set up, managed to take control of the government, and they're running it as if they're the only people in the country, and they are oppressing free speech. They're oppressing Brits. They're criminalizing and they're imprisoning people for their words, for no actions, while letting illegal immigrants run rampant and attack Brits all over the country. So my opinion on it is that whatever Keir Starmer's corrupt government has to say is of no interest. No interest. What's going on here? Suddenly people are being routed over here by YouTube. That says 7. That one didn't make it there, Meerkat. Meerkat didn't quite make it. 21 Rand. That's not $5. YouTube loves to cheat. Yep. So, yeah, that's my opinion, Oliver. But please, I would like to know more. I haven't heard about people complaining about him intruding in the politics of UK. He probably said something about free speech in UK, and he would be right to do it. Again, folks, I'm not a fan of Elon Musk. For those who have paid attention to my program a long time, I don't dislike him, but I don't trust him. Is it buffering, Charles? It's not buffering here, so it must be on your end. Nick Muller just gave 140 Rand. That's going to do it. Oliver said spot on. I think my UK passport is useless for the moment. Hey, thank you, Nick Muller, for that 140 Rand super chat. Look at that, man. Look at that. Look at that. Okay, that's... did it go away? What happened? What the heck happened there? 39 seconds left on it, and we got... Did we get 10? That's 8 of 10. There's Arctic with 39. What the F is teal? It's a color, brother. It's a color. Okay, we're at 25 seconds. Did we get it? Let me see. 23 seconds. I think we're going to be close. How close do we get? That's 8 out of 10. So we almost made it. YouTube and its games. What's up, Tom Robinson? Yeah, he's still in prison, to my knowledge. Yeah, rumors have circulated about him since donating to Reform UK. He's since been photographed. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, unless it violates law. No, blue is a color. Teal is a mental disorder. Is it really? What about mauve? Is mauve a mental disorder as well? All right, we got 8 out of 10. A couple people super chatted, but they didn't count because you got to be over $5. It should have told you how much you had to donate. The goal says that, yeah. So, all right, we got 8 out of 10. All right, that's. Thank you all for participating. That was actually kind of funny, interesting. You have to click on the goal and the buy, otherwise it won't count. There you go. Tony's laughing. Teal is a blue, identifying as a color. John Jarvis says, I think all Elon is doing is threatening to financially support the Reform Party. Yeah, I don't know if he is. Unless if it doesn't violate election law, then I have no problem with it. Keir Starmer's government is illegitimate, well above the ANC. Yes, you're right, Arctic. 80% is about 50% higher than the ANC passing mark. Well done to the audience. You guys are fantastic. It is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. We are just 8 days away from Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, I will reach a milestone on the 25th of December that I never, ever thought about in my entire life. Can you imagine that? I will turn 39 years old on December 25th. Yeah. Hey, Bernard, welcome to you. Jed Phillips is here. People are piling in now. I don't know if it's the super chats and YouTube recommends it or if you're just getting the update that we're open. I don't know what's going on, but it's actually kind of cool. Dylan said 28. CB said 20 plus 20. 29 plus 20. Okay, that works for me. Sue says 60. Sue, shh, don't be telling me. Sue, you're a moderator? When did I make you a moderator? Yeah, Arctic says, I'm 21. My girlfriends are 18 and 19. Well, at least they're legal. Okay, Jed said for the footage. I assume we're talking about Grahamstown. All right, Jed, I'll have to check that out. Thank you for reminding me of that. John Jarvis says 60. Stop with the fake news. Stop with the fake news. You guys are your fake news. All right, back to the stories. Okay, so we got through one news story. Traditional leaders slammed the elitist MK party who blew them off, who didn't have credentials for them to enter the Moses Madiba Stadium. The traditional leaders were turned away after the MK party made such a big deal about traditional leaderships and getting rid of Roman Dutch law and adhering to traditional African concepts. Yeah, if you're rich. Otherwise, piss off is what they say. Yep. Gabriel just turned 35 times too. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, so your traditional leaders slammed the elitist MK after boycotting the party's anniversary bash over ill treatment. By the way, this is the only media outlet that actually covered this story. The Toilet Paper of Record, I didn't see any story. Propaganda 24, I didn't see any story. No other websites. Times Live didn't have a story about traditional leaders being turned away by Jacob Zuma's MK party. Are the traditional media fronting for MK, or are they just missing a story? Yikes. No more spare parts around, says Arctic. Yeah. Well, the warranty. Okay, first off, when you turn 60, the warranty's gone. There's no more warranty, folks. you can't even get an extended warranty from the company. You're just done. Most of us, when we turn 60, our parents are probably gone already. So yeah. All right. So traditional leaders boycotted the MK's first anniversary gala dinner after being denied entry to the celebratory event in Moses Madiba Stadium. Hundreds of other supporters, including those from Zuma's homestead in Kanla, also missed out due to the party's failure to arrange transport. At the heart of the MK's campaign, party's campaign for the 29 May elections was a promise to empower traditional leaders by giving them a stronger voice. However, the party's anniversary celebrations revealed cracks in the commitment as more than 130 traditional leaders boycotted the gala dinner Monday evening. The event, which ran through the early hours of Tuesday, offered exclusive seating options with the Platinum Spear section. The Platinum Spear section, providing an opportunity to sit close to former President Jacob Zuma for just 2 million rand. Yep, for a group of 30. So that's 60 million rand. Okay, with the golden spear table going for 15 million rand and the silver spear for 1 million rand. So if you ever wondered why MK exists, why EFF exists, there you have it right there. 30 people sat next to Jacob Zuma and they made 60 million rand off of that. 60 million rand, $3 million because they sat next to Ubaba Dumbass. Ubaba Dumbass. They made a crap load of money over the weekend. It's all about money. It's about the grift. It's not about governing. It's not about people. Jose says my warranty will be over next year. Yeah, Ubaba made a ton of money, man. Crap load of money. The traditional healers boycotted the dinner after they were denied entry to the first anniversary event at Moses Madiba Stadium. They weren't the only ones. Yeah, according to the leaders, were blocked from entering owing to accreditation problems, which cannot be resolved after several attempts. But the real grievance, they said, was the ill treatment after which the traditional leaders from different provinces walked out of the event. In a strongly worded statement on Monday night, the council slammed the party, saying it was turning into an elitist organization just like other political formations. Hey, traditional healer dumbasses. That's what it always was. That was the whole intent. This is just a grift for Zuma family. You think his daughter is qualified to do anything other than open her yap on a talk show? Nope. Yeah, on an up note, he can't say he's broke, yes, but Monday they got to figure out how you split 16 million, 100 thieves, and you still have 10% for Zuma. Exactly. Exactly. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, the EFF is willing to join the Government of National Unity. Yeah, you know that? Yeah, EFF will join the Government of National Unity as soon as the DA leaves. Juju, the malcontent in chief, uttering his yap after being elected. Tando Meko reports that Malema was elected to be leader of the EFF for another 5-year term. In a closing address to the party delegates who just elected him to lead the party for 5 years, EFF President Julius Malema suggested the party is relying on the disintegration of the GNU in the near future, paving the way for the EFF to enter. We're not going into government to save the ANC. We're going into government to work for our people. Helen Zilla is leaving. Once she's out, we are entering. Electoral support for the EFF has cratered to just 9.5% in the May elections. 2,000 grifters attended the event, 66 Central Command team members, including the top 6, who were all elected unopposed. Wow, that sounds very democratic. All elected unopposed. Sounds like a Soviet election. Yeah, he's a deflated gummy bear. That's what he is. Well, the Times Live runs a story about the Freedom Front Plus's Peter Groenewald. Dr. Groenewald defends the celebration of Geloofsdag, correctly pointing out that it's a religious event, not a political event, and people should stop confusing the two. EFF is dead just like the little man. Agreed, Bernard, and we're going to beat that horse until it's gone. Yep. Covenant with God in 1838 continues to hold deep meaning for Afrikaners and Boers. The leader of the Freedom Front Plus, Minister of Correctional Services Peter Groenewald, recently emphasized the enduring relevance of the four-tracker vow, saying that symbolism remains just as significant today, 185 years after it was made. Reflecting on the vow taken in 1838 by the four-trackers before their victory at the Battle of Blood River, Groenewald argued that it continues to hold deep meaning for Afrikaners and other minority groups who feel threatened by the policies of the ANC. And it's not mutually exclusive. Afrikaners Boers can celebrate Geloofsdag, and people can also celebrate the Day of Reconciliation, he says, and he's correct. Over 20 deaths reported in the Western Cape over the long weekend. Western Cape Department of Mobility has urged residents to practice caution. Has recorded 24 deaths on provincial roads in the long weekend. That's sad. That is unfortunate. Probably alcohol involved in some of it. The pumping station at Eichenhof is back on the job and resumed, but water pressure will remain low. Rand Water's complete maintenance at the Eichenhof system on schedule, but an alternative supply remains available as it will take a while before the water reaches residents. Taps went dry in Joburg on Friday when Rand Water started maintenance work at Eichenhof and Zwartkoppies pump stations. So, to correct historical defects. Historical defects, as opposed to hysterical defects. Several hundred people now confirmed dead, apparently, in the Mayotte cyclone. Horrible situation. Rescue services search for survivors after the most powerful cyclone in nearly a century devastated the French archipelago of Mayotte. Part of the islands, which were struck by Cyclone Cheeto over the weekend with winds of more than 200 kilometers, remain inaccessible to rescue workers, according to reports. Several hundred dead in the Mayotte cyclone. It hit Mayotte head-on, folks, before it made landfall in Mozambique. Sad. Well, South Africa has reported increased exports. Yep, boy, African Idiot, your 700 Rand Super Chat is still up there, and the goal is there. So, for that, we got 8 cents. Still no water from the taps, 4 days and counting. Okay. As soon as Jay-Z kicks the bucket, they will migrate back to either EFF or IFP. Yes, Charles, 100%. It's a vanity project, as I said in my video, just like the EFF is a vanity project. Only Malema is losing support now, not after he's gone. Is this storm weather cloud seeding still happening? There's no cloud seeding. Weather changes. The rotation, the wobble of the Earth on its axis causes weather perturbations that occur in regular cycles, including ice ages every 20,000 years or so. So, yep. Anyway, back to agricultural growth. South Africa's cumulative agricultural export value for the first 3 quarters of this year is up 4% from last year at $10.55 billion US dollars. The top exported products include citrus, nuts, maize, apples, pears, wine, fruit juices, sugar, dates, figs, avocados, mangoes, berries, and grapes, among others. So basically, pretty much every agricultural product, except beef. No beef being exported. Interesting there. Well, Ramaphosa is urging the B20 to ignore McKinsey. Now, this is undue influence, and this is corrupt behavior by President Cyril Ramaphosa, interjecting himself into a contract awarded to McKinsey Consulting based on his bigotry against McKinsey. The fact that McKinsey hired criminals in South Africa who colluded with criminal ANC members of the government in the state capture era, which you're covering up and not prosecuting state capture criminals from the government, but you're telling the B20, which is the business section of the G20 organization, that they should not have a contract with McKinsey? Screw you, Cyril Ramaphosa. Get your fat lard ass out of our business. You shouldn't even be in the G20. Your economy is a joke. You're a rounding error. You're nothing. And the fact that criminals in South Africa with no qualifications were hired based on BEE does not mean that McKinsey is not a legitimate organization. McKinsey & Company has been appointed by the B20 to provide supporting services during the South Africa's G20 presidency. The appointment of state capture accused consultancy firm McKinsey & Co. in Africa by the G20's official private sector engagement group has placed in the crosshairs of Cyril Ramaphosa. I think you should stop stuffing money in your couches before you consult on McKinsey. Earlier this month, McKinsey agreed to pay $122 million to resolve criminal accusations tied to state capture, including the bribing of Eskom and Transnet in exchange for lucrative tenders. The agreement by the consultancy firm resolved the U.S. investigation and charges brought against it by South Africa's National Prosecuting Authority. The presidency has noted with concern the recent appointments of McKinsey as supporting partner to the B20, the business engagement group that meets on the sidelines of the G20 and coordinates with the participation of business of the G20. While the presidency or government has no control over B20, it does not endorse the appointment of McKinsey. Ladies and gentlemen, I have grave concerns over millions of rand in dollars stuffed into suitcases, $500,000 stuffed into couches at Pala Pala, and the consequent subsequent cover-up of the miscarriage of justice, the misappropriation of government resources, the interference and the interference with the means of justice by Cyril Ramaphosa, misusing the Presidential Protection Unit to cover up the crime and investigate, which is not their role. Also, the actions of South African Police Service and the cover-up that took place at Pala Pala. I have grave concerns that this man is qualified to be president, let alone open his yap talking about McKinsey Consulting, one of the world's largest consulting groups, because they were forced into a BEE tender and hired criminals based on skin color, not based on their skills. Yeah, I think he should shut up. Bernard says, I have a general question. White came from the north, black came from the south, both strangers. Who said dig the hole? Who agreed? I have no idea. No idea. Who never had slavery? South Africa. South Africa had slavery, Bernard. Oh, yes, indeed. It did have slavery. I don't know what you're talking about. Jack's got to go. All right. Missing children. That's sad to hear. North and South. I don't know. I don't understand what the question is. My family has property in Idaho, best state in the nation. Hey, Daniel. I don't know about Idaho being the best state, but it's certainly cool. There's the Idaho Garden Girl. Welcome to you. I didn't know. What else? Hey, Mike's here in from Pennsylvania. Mike, how's it going? All right, so Steinhoff's Dirty Linen will be aired tomorrow. They tried to cover it up for years. Steinhoff, the huge multinational conglomerate led by South Africa / Germany, which went into bankruptcy, which now is the Ibex Group. Yep. 7,000-page fraud report will be released. Ibex Group, formerly Steinhoff, has decided not to appeal against the decision by the Supreme Court of Appeal that it must hand over sensitive report by PricewaterhouseCoopers on the fraud that brought the company to its knees and cost pension funds billions of rand. Wow. So it will be released tomorrow, December 18th, and there'll be a lot to sink your teeth into on that one. Justice Malala boasts an op-ed in the Times Live, and he asked the question, why do we need such a big cabinet? And the newspaper editors chose to put the DA members of the cabinet in the picture, not the hippos from the ANC. So here's Ramaphosa shaking John Steenhuisen's hand as Siviwe Garuba looks on from her ill-fitting dress. Well, there's a reason, Justice, why you have to have such a big cabinet. It's called cater employment. We know that. You know that. It's a silly op-ed to ask the question. Well, is Francophone Africa disappearing? French influence is retreating across the continent, despite their best efforts. A wave of African countries pushing for the former colonizer to back off. Senegal is one of them that's doing it, but it's the only one that's not run by a military dictatorship. In November, the president, Faye, asked Paris to remove 350 French troops stationed on Senegalese soil, effectively ending a defense pact that has existed for decades and continuing a trend that has seen many West African nations sever or downgrade once strong ties with former French colonial power in recent years. Well, this was bound to happen. It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. France's influence is waning. Danny Robinson says, thoughts on what might happen in Iran post-Ayatollah? It seems like Bolivia is being set up via Nelson Mandela. That would be a shock for me to see that. I think that if the theocrats don't ease up, they're likely to see a violent revolution in their midst. People have had enough. Local Bantus were not enslaved, but the Dutch took them. Yes, that's correct. Local Africans were not enslaved by Europeans. They were brought from Mozambique, from Angola, from Indonesia, from Malaysia. Yep, and they helped form the basis of what today is the color community. Well, Mayotte, I've talked about Mayotte already, that cyclone, they've imposed a curfew as aid is rushed in. Hundreds are feared dead after the storm razed entire neighborhoods, a series of islands off the coast of Africa. Cyclones slammed into Mozambique with heavy rains, killing 34 people there, and completely or partially destroying 35,000 houses. It hit Mayotte with gusts of over 124 miles per hour, over 200 kilometers. Wow. Roughly one-third of the archipelago's chain of 320,000 residents are criminal alien invaders who live in shoddily built shanty towns. Curfew will be enforced from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., according to France's Interior Ministry. It's an overseas department of France, Mayotte. Massive earthquake has jolted Vanuatu, damaging buildings including the U.S. Embassy. A tsunami alert was lifted for Pacific Island Nation, but government websites were offline after the quake. U.S. Embassy building was seriously damaged. A magnitude 7.3 earthquake struck near Vanuatu early Tuesday, triggering small tsunami waves, causing serious damage to U.S. Embassy in the capital, and knocking out most of the internet connectivity in the Pacific Island Nation. Websites of government agencies and a major power company were offline after the earthquakes, and the Australian High Commission said its communication system in Vanuatu had been affected. NetBlocks, a cybersecurity monitoring organization, said that there was a near total loss of internet connectivity across the country. Phone calls to government agencies and the police did not go through. U.S. Embassy in Port Vila sustained considerable damage and was closed until further notice. The U.S. Embassy in Papua New Guinea said in an email. Videos posted online appear to show that one floor of a section of the building had totally collapsed. The Vanuatu Broadcast and Television Corporation, the national broadcaster, posted photos and videos on social media that appeared to show damaged and partially collapsed buildings as well as people being treated for injuries. The epicenter of the earthquake was 18 miles off the coast of Port Vila, the capital. The country is about 1,000 miles northeast of Australia and comprises more than 80 islands with a population of about 300,000. I think the Iranian nationalists are willing to go with Pahlavi and he'll make deals with the current regime. Possibly. I also hope Trump cancels the contract. BRICS will never play with the big boys. Dollars fall. What contract is that, Bernard? Ukraine says that it killed a Russian general, and another escalation in the conflict, this time once again by Ukraine and its Western allies, assassinating a lieutenant general in Moscow. This is incredible. It shows the weakness of Moscow's intelligence services. It also shows the humble life of a three-star general living in a nondescript Soviet-era apartment block in Moscow. It's crazy. I'm not going to show the whole thing here. I am going to show what the place looks like. You're going to see this. I'm not going to show everything though. So there's the street. You can see the snow in Moscow, and the lieutenant general walks out of the building. I'm not going to show it. A scooter bomb was there, and it blows him to smithereens. Yep. So you'll see the nondescript. This is where the guy lived. So coming out of the building. All right, I'm going to stop it right there. I'm not going to show you the explosion. I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. Plus, it's just graphic. Igor Kirillov is suspected by Ukraine of ordering the use of banned chemical weapons. Ukraine said it killed a senior Russian general in Moscow, bombing of a device planted in a scooter, which exploded early today. A rare target assassination of a high-profile military official. Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov, head of Russian Armed Forces Radiological, Chemical, and Biological Defense Troops, was killed outside a residential building alongside his assistant. Ukraine officials said the killing was a special operation by the Security Service of Ukraine, the country's primary domestic intelligence agency known as the SBU. Ukraine has sought to use targeted attacks against Russian military commanders, prominent pro-war figures, and military installations far from the front to gain an edge in the nearly 3-year-old war. Yeah, it's absolutely horrific what happened. This is insane. The bodies lie at the blast scene outside a residential building in Moscow. The SBU named as suspect in investigation for war crimes. They said by his order, more than 4,800 cases of enemy use of chemical weapons have been recorded since the beginning of the full-scale war. Well, if there have been cases of chemical weapons, why have they not been reported in the press? You think that Joe Biden and Volodymyr Zelensky would have, hearkened and screamed about chemical weapons use. We've seen nothing. We've seen nothing. Well, a Russian tanker has wrecked in the Black Sea, spilling oil all over the place. It's carrying thousands of barrels of oil through the Kerch Strait. A Russian tanker split apart in the Black Sea, spilling heavy oil into the Kerch Strait, Russian maritime officials said. A second tanker nearby was also damaged in the stormy weather. The Volga Neft 212 was carrying thousands of barrels of oil when it ran aground late Sunday, and it damaged its hull, Russian officials said. One crew member is believed dead. 13 other sailors are evacuated. A second tanker, the Volga Neft 239, was adrift in the area with 14 sailors aboard. And there you can see where it's... Wow. Rescue tugs pulled back early on Monday because of bad weather. So, cannot get it away from there. Trying to pull it up. Oh, Bernard is talking about AGOA. Well, Trump should suspend South Africa from AGOA. It's not eligible. South Africa has violated the terms of AGOA for several years. Since the introduction of the Expropriation Without Compensation Amendment several years ago, back in 2018, South Africa has not technically been eligible for AGOA and should have been suspended long ago under the Trump administration, under the Biden regime, but it's never been done. It was a gift to South Africa, which it doesn't deserve. South Africa has systemically undermined U.S. foreign policy and our national security with its actions related to Russia, with its actions with China, with its language about a BRICS currency, which now it lies about. It has undermined. It has also been a terror financing transit hub, a logistical base for terror groups, and it's not done anything to correct that situation. Therefore, it has not lived up to the terms of AGOA, and it shouldn't have duty-free access to our marketplace. Yep, both aren't suitable for the big waves. They brought the two tankers in the Black Sea from the Sea of Azov. Okay. All right, thank you for that, Tony. KZ Indians were brought to work sugar plantations. That's correct. They were not slaves, no. The Indians brought were not slaves, although they'll argue that they were treated like slaves. That's a different story, but they were not slaves. Yep, river tankers. What are they doing in open sea then? The Archbishop of York is facing calls for his resignation over the handling of an abuse case. Archbishop of York Stephen Cottrell is facing growing calls to step aside as interim leader of the Church of England, the Anglican Church, over his handling of sexual misconduct case involving a priest during his tenure as the Bishop of Chelmsford. Of course, Chelmsford, for those who know the name, will remain very familiar. Lord Chelmsford is the idiot who led the invasion of Zululand in 1879 and had his hat handed to him when he foolishly divided his forces into 3 columns, leaving one column at Istan Lawana to be obliterated by 20,000 Zulus. And the heroic defense of Rorke's Drift followed shortly afterwards. Yep, Lord Chelmsford. Yep. Well, European Union Commission is suing the United Kingdom over Brexit. Piss off. The legal action comes despite Prime Minister Keir Starmer's efforts to reset the UK's relationship with the EU and calling for close to... Who made him a knight, sir? That was the dumbest thing ever. Yeah, so they have no legal basis for this. The United Kingdom is not part of the European Union, and therefore you can't do anything to them. The European Union is not a state, therefore cannot go to the International Court of Justice to sue the United Kingdom, which is a state, and that's what that court is for. So they could just shut up and be quiet. It all stems from the UK apparently violating the agreement that they had that those who were existing would be grandfathered with freedom of movement between Europe and the United Kingdom. But apparently the UK is not living up to those terms. And I say, too bad. Too bad. Yeah, Ursula von der Leyen and Keir Starmer, 2 of the most dangerous fools on the planet. Absolutely. Well, TikTok is being investigated by the European Union for meddling in the Romanian election. See, this is what happens when they don't like Viktor Orban winning in Hungary. They don't like the conservatives winning in the Netherlands. They don't like conservatives in Sweden getting the edge. They don't like conservatives in Romania. And so the EU sticks its big, bigoted, racist nose into these events and blames TikTok for a right-wing conservative winning the election. Yeah, TikTok isn't being investigated for after suspected meddling in Romania. So are you actually saying that TikTok produced content that interfered in Romania's election? Are you making that claim, European Union? I seriously doubt it. European Union regulators said Tuesday they're investigating whether TikTok breached the bloc's digital rulebook by failing to deal with risks to Romania's presidential election, which has been thrown into turmoil over allegations of electoral violations and Russian meddling. There's no merit to those allegations. Those are simply allegations made by sore losers thus far. Yeah, the court made its unprecedented decision after authorities in the European Union, NATO member country, declassified documents alleging Moscow organized a sprawling social media campaign to promote a long-shot candidate, Talon Bezuidenhout. Did they alter votes? So they altered public opinion with a media campaign. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. Justin Trudeau is nearing the end of his disastrous reign and destruction of Canada. The Canadians will soon take back their country from Juicy Trudeau. Hopefully. In an op-ed piece in the Wall Street Journal, the editorial board says his finance minister quits as the ruling Liberals sink in the polls. Canada's press is reporting that Justin Trudeau may resign as prime minister, and why keep the country in pain any longer? The Liberal government has been on political life support for some time, and our neighbors to the north deserve a new election. The latest blow to Trudeau's faltering rule came Monday when the resignation of his finance minister, Chrystia Freeland. And she didn't go quietly. She resigned with a tough letter citing differences with the prime minister over fiscal policy in preparation for Trump's threat to impose 25% tariff. Yet, Mr. Trudeau's Liberals are trailing the opposition Conservatives by 20 or more points in most opinion polls. The Conservatives, led by Pierre Poilievre, who, unlike recent Tory leaders, wants to offer a genuine policy contrast with Trudeau's spendthrift fiscal policy, his cultural leftism, and liberal hostility to fossil fuels. Ms. Freeland and other Liberals can read the polls and apparently want to cast off Mr. Trudeau before he takes them all down. Well, you are going down. You are done. But they've all been aboard the cruise, and Mr. Trudeau's failures aren't merely personal. He's presided over runaway deficits and a plunge in the Canadian dollar to a mere 70 cents to the U.S. greenback. He's done this while not coming close to meeting Canada's defense spending obligations in NATO. Canada's voters are telling pollsters they want to change, and with Mr. Trump about to take power, they're going to need one. Yep, I agree with the Wall Street Journal opinion piece here. 15-year-old girl identified as the shooter in Madison, Wisconsin. Natalie Rupnow was identified by the police as the shooter in the attack at the Abundant Life Christian School, yet another Christian school targeted by a shooter. No mention of the fact that there's a trend of Christian schools being targeted like the one that happened in Tennessee. We're still waiting for the manifesto of the transgender who murdered all the people in the school. Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes asked a question at the end of this story, and he says, how does any 15-year-old get a hold of a gun? Well, Chief Barnes, you're not a very bright individual. I'm sure that your hiring as a chief of police was purely based on your skill and your merit. No doubt about it. It's a meritocracy, right, Chief? How does a 15-year-old get a hold of a gun in America? Well, we have the right to keep and bear arms, and it's not limited by age. Some states try to impose such limits. I began using firearms at the tender age of 9 or 10. Before I ever touched one, I was taught firearm safety and proper use. So how does a 15-year-old get a hold of a gun? Well, because 15-year-olds are allowed to go hunting, you moron. Anyway, 15-year-old girl is named as a shooter at a Christian school in Wisconsin. One teacher and one student were killed, and the shooter died of a self-inflicted wound. Now, something interesting is happening here in this situation. As this unfolds, the leftists are up in arms again. Up in arms again. President Biden, among the many, calling for action over school shootings. Yeah. Says, how can this happen? Joe Biden was briefed on the school shooting on Monday. He said, it's shocking and unconscionable. We need Congress to act now. Jill and I are praying for all the victims today, including the teacher and teenage student who were killed and those who sustained injuries. Where was the left when Donald Trump was shot in the head, calling for gun control? Where was the left when another assassin lay in wait for Donald Trump with an AK-47 in Florida? Silent. Where was the left when a CEO of a health insurance company was gunned down in cold blood by a coward shot in the back in the early hours of the morning in Manhattan? Not a single word, not a single op-ed, not a single commentary, not a single talk show gabfest once from any of the leftists. No Bernie Sanders, no Joe Biden, no Mitch McConnell. None of these scumbags, not a single one of them said anything when they shot Republicans at a baseball practice. Not a single one of them said anything when Donald Trump was shot in the head. Not a single one of them called for gun control when conservatives are the targets, because they don't care about gun control. What they care about is control. Control. Controlling you and controlling me. Therefore, libertas will fight them. Liberty. That's what it is. If you're wondering what my thumbnail, libertas, liberty. It's all a lie. It's all concocted. They didn't say squat. No squawking leftists screaming, no congressional demands for legislation when Trump was shot, when the CEO in New York, in fact, they're heralding it. They're cheering that the man was murdered. They're raising money, over $100,000 already raised by GoFundMe or one of these other sites for the defense fund for Luigi Mangione. Unbelievable. They are all frauds. Just like they're fake caring about transgender. If they cared about transgender, they would recognize what the American Medical Association said about transgenderism for decades. And they would seek help for those who actually need help, not butchering their genitalia. If they truly cared about racism, then they would root it out instead of hustling in it and promoting it. But they do not. The Democrats and political left are total frauds in everything they say and do. Not a single genuine bone in their body. Not one. Not a single one. I am consistent. The Second Amendment is clear. And I'm consistent on gun violence. It starts with prosecuting criminals and putting deterrence out there. And it continues with organizations teaching people how to use firearms properly. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Silent when Trump was nearly assassinated. Silent the second time when Trump was nearly assassinated. Silent when the executive was murdered in cold blood. And not only were they silent, not calling for gun control when Mangione murdered Brian, they're heralding him as a hero with their whataboutism. Well, when you're denied care by an insurer. You're not entitled to jack shit. It doesn't give you the right to murder people. This privileged, snot-faced little shit who grew up in the lap of luxury from multi-millionaire parents, went to a school that cost more in a single year than I made as a salary in 20 years of working. Well, 15 years of working. And he's complaining about health insurance? Take your sorry ass to your parents and ask them to pay for your health care, you whiny little loser. Unbelievable. Every day, nobodies, just average everyday Americans are gunned down in Chicago. And who are they? Black people, black Chicagoans. And do they call for gun control? Only when it makes it in the press. Only when it makes it in the press. Not a single politician can today tell you about gun violence. Except what they read in the newspaper. Show me one politician who could cite case after case after case after case of average everyday people. Because I don't give a flying flip about you or me. They're frauds. And I'm going to talk about the Republican frauds here in a few moments. In fact, you're right, Arctic. They did say sorry the shooter missed. We saw that. That died quickly as those people were ostracized. Hey, Shawnee, chances are that the liberals will have non-party status after the next election. Yeah, extinction, exactly. That'd be great. Why should she leave? Well, she was a problem. That's why she left. I don't understand your question. No place to hide. The New York Times, no place to hide. Border, trapped on the border. Ooh, immigrants fear deportation. Okay, deportation. First off, the New York Times, these are not immigrants. These are criminal alien invaders. Where are the Republicans? Where are the members of the incoming Trump administration saying the facts? They're not immigrants. They're not migrants. They are criminal alien invaders who violated our sovereignty and invaded our nation. They have no respect for America or for Americans. None. And they have no business being here. Undocumented immigrants whose children or spouses are U.S. citizens are feeling particularly vulnerable to President-elect Donald Trump's threats to push them out. Well, first off, if you came here illegally and married someone in this country, your marriage should be annulled. It's illegitimate. It is the consequence of a criminal felony act. Therefore, it's vacating your marriage. The citizenship granted to your offspring, your anchor babies, is vacated. They are not citizens of this country. Your act to create those children was a criminal felony. You do not get to profit from your criminal felony invading our country and producing anchor babies. Now that sounds harsh. That sounds rough. And I'll be accused of all sorts of things. But so what? There's a reason why there are rules and laws. So people behave. Arctic, I think he's talking about South Africa. I'm sitting in a coffee shop in Bordeaux and now they think I'm an American. Well, Francois, what did they think that you were before when I was talking about South Africa? Did they think you're South African? And when I was talking about Mayotte, did they think you were French? Maria, an undocumented immigrant. For the last quarter of a century, Maria's version of the American dream has been confined to a small corner of South Texas, tucked between the border with Mexico and a fortified Border Patrol checkpoint 77 miles north. Maria, the mother of two U.S.-born anchor baby teenagers who crossed illegally from Mexico in 1998, is one of thousands of unauthorized immigrants who have long lived in the netherworld along the Texas border, tied to family members who are citizens but trapped in an unusual part of the country where, without legal immigration documents, it's all been impossible for them to stray far from their adopted hometowns. Here's a hint. Go back to your point of origin. And then you wouldn't have to worry about your freedom of movement because you're a criminal. Students have been paying outrageously overinflated prices to keep the middle class out of elite universities. Oh, is that a shocker? Is that a shocker? Details released in an antitrust case against 17 top universities allege family wealth influenced some admissions decisions. Of course they'd happened. A filing in an antitrust lawsuit against some of the nation's top universities alleged the schools overcharged students by $685 million in a price-fixing scheme, raising serious questions about their past admission and financial aid policies. Every year, according to a motion filed in federal court last night, Georgetown University's then president would draw up a list of about 80 applicants based on tracking lists that often include information about their parents' wealth and past donations, but not the applicants' transcripts, teacher recommendations, or personal essays. And he would write, "Please admit," at the top of the list. And almost all of the applicants were admitted. They were admitted over better qualified candidates. because the wealthy were protected. Not the white, not the black, but the wealthy. Documents testimony from officials at Georgetown, the University of Notre Dame, University of Pennsylvania, MIT, and other elite schools detail how they appeared to favor wealthy applicants despite their stated policy of accepting students without regard to their financial circumstances. Their need-blind policy allowed the schools to collaborate in financial aid under federal law, but plaintiffs in the case say the colleges violated the statute by considering students' family income. Former students accused 17 elite schools, including most of the Ivy League, of colluding to limit the financial aid packages of working middle-class students. The claim damages $685 million. Wow. It could automatically triple to more than $2 billion under antitrust laws. Wow. There you go. There you go. I'm surprised no one's screaming racism. It's about classism. The Democrats have introduced a constitutional amendment bill to abolish the Electoral College. Well, one thing about Dickie Durbin, he's demented all right. Even when they lose the popular vote, Democrats still want to take it out in the Electoral College. 3 Democratic senators introduced a constitutional amendment Monday to abolish the body that has formally elected the president for the nation's entire history. Francois, quick question. You're not the guy that hung out with me in Bordeaux, are you? The IT specialist? I think you are. I'm trying to remember. It's been a year since we were in France. Is that you, Francois? Just double checking. The guy that got me to go to the Aussie event for Springboks at that pub. Is that you? Introduced me to, who did I get introduced to there? One of the Springbok players. Oh, one of the Western Cape guys. Well, the judge has declined to dismiss the Trump case. Judge Marchand. Nope, not me, says Francois. Okay. Judge declines to toss Trump's New York hush money conviction. Ruling concludes that the Supreme Court's decision on presidential immunity didn't void the prosecution. A New York judge ruled Monday that Donald Trump's hush money conviction remains valid, rejecting arguments from the president-elect that it should be dismissed. He left for another day the question on whether Trump should ever be sentenced for 34 low-level felony counts of falsifying business records. Well, of course, he never committed that felony, and it's a non-existent crime. The statute of limitations had expired, and then they used federal law, which they have no jurisdiction over, to bootstrap it to an expired list of charges to create a conspiracy that did not exist. And who goes after the head of a corporation, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, for misstated tax filings? Nobody in their right mind. Trump has announced yet another wealthy individual be part of his administration, Japan ambassador. Yep. President-elect Donald Trump has unveiled his pick for U.S. ambassador to Japan. George Glass, a businessman and former investment banker, who served as ambassador to Portugal during his first administration. He's Trump's choice for the chief diplomat to Japan, one of the country's most important ambassadorships, Japan. We're giving it to another rich person. Well, CNN's Van Jones says we're all idiots. Of course, he's talking about himself and his fellow talking heads on cable news, not us. Yes, he says Trump is smarter than me, you, and all of his critics. We're the idiots. Well, you are. You've always been the idiot. You're a communist who has no business doing anything, but you're incredibly wealthy from your communism. Democrats have long derided Donald Trump as a vulgar fool, but former Obama advisor Van Jones thinks otherwise. In a recent interview, the progressive CNN clown not only called Trump the smartest man in the room, but said the party has to do better than that in explaining why it lost to him. Guys, can we cut it out? Donald Trump is not an idiot. Let me just be very clear. Donald Trump is smarter than me, you, and all his critics. You know how I know? Because he has the White House, the Senate, the House, the Supreme Court, and the popular vote. There's no argument with success. Winning the presidential election in the face of overt mainstream media hostility and other headwinds, he said. Well, he told the truth for once. He has a massive media ecosystem, bigger than the mainstream, built around him and far from him, and a religious fervor and a political movement around him. And his best buddy is the richest person in the history of the world, and the most relevant Kennedy is with him. Democrats' hostility toward Trump and contempt for supporters is just a losing formula. And that's correct. And that's why they're all sucking up to Trump now. Well, the fake Republicans, now it's time to lambaste them. A Republican Party gift for Randy Weingarten, the obnoxious, screaming teachers union boss, that lunatic that she is. The Senate has poised to rob the Social Security Administration of $196 billion for public union workers. Republicans claim to want to reduce the budget deficit, but why are they joining Democrats in raiding Social Security for $200 billion in extra benefits for government workers who already have generous salaries and pensions? The House last month passed the misnamed Social Security Fairness Act 327-75. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer vowed at a rally with union leaders last week to hold a vote on the bill this week. what's happening to you is unfair, un-American. That's simply not true. That's simply not true. Government workers already have a more generous retirement package than most people get under Social Security, and they're prohibited from collecting Social Security because they don't pay into it for years. But when they go into the private sector, they do pay into it, but they don't reach the 35 years that you must achieve in order to get paid out from Social Security. You must have 35 years of credible service or payments to Social Security in order to get payments. Unless you're a foreign national, then we give you the money. If you're a criminal invader, then you get Social Security. Or if you're a fake disability person, you get Social Security dispayments. But most of us have to work 35 years in order to get any payments out of Social Security. Government workers who work for the government and then go in the private sector don't get full payment. They get a reduced payment, which is all they're entitled to. But now they're going to give them a full payment, which will cost us more than raising the retirement age to 70. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Well, Scott Bessent, Trump's pick to be Treasury Secretary, has the Three Arrows growth strategy, which he's stealing from assassinated Prime Minister Abe from Japan. A decade ago, Japanese Prime Minister sought to overhaul the economy by using a strategy called the Three Arrows, which meant increasing government spending, easing monetary policy, and adjusting the economic landscape. Well, those three arrows won't work. Increasing government spending is a recipe for disaster. Easy monetary policy is ridiculous, and that's what Japan did. It didn't work. So, last summer, Bessent, a Wall Street billionaire financier, outlined the Three Arrows approach, his own Three Arrows approach to stimulating this economy. He said the first step would be aim for 3% GDP growth. I think we need 3.2, but 3, that's fine. I'll work with that. And then the second would be the 3% increase in, or 3 million barrels of oil, 3 million more barrels of oil per day produced. That's that one. And then 3% deficit. It's currently 7% of the GDP. They want to reduce it to 3%. That's the annual budget, not the total deficit. So that's what he's calling for. Tom Cruise has received a prestigious award from the United States Navy for his contributions. Tom Cruise receives top U.S. Navy honor for boosting the military with his screen roles. World's most famous fictional Top Gun is now a decorated Navy hero. Tom Cruise was awarded the U.S. Navy's top civilian honor on Tuesday for outstanding contributions to the Navy and the Marine Corps with Top Gun and other films. Wow. He was given the Distinguished Public Service Award by U.S. Secretary of the Navy Carlos Del Toro at his studio near London. 62-year-old actor said he was proud to receive the extraordinary acknowledgement which came with the medal and certificate. He said, I admire all the servicemen and women. I know in life something that is very true to me, and that is to lead is to serve. I know that to my core, and I see that in servicemen and women. Yep. So there you go. Congratulations to Tom Cruise on his award, his contributions to the Navy. Well, last time I looked, we had 103 people here. Now we have 77. Must have chased some people away. But Francois still here. Arctic says, would you return to active duty to assist with the deportation operation? Absolutely. I would return to active duty to deploy to a combat zone if called upon. I would return to active duty to do a number of things. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd have to get a haircut and shave the beard, but that's fine. Arthur says, Robert Kennedy Jr. is a crazy person. On the basis of what, Arthur? Trump must stop the free cash to illegal criminal invaders, stop citizenship and fake marriages, stop ID cards and wandering tramps. 100% correct, Carlos. When did they become Scientologists? I don't know. Just because he is doesn't mean they are. Dude has also get free Ray-Bans for life. I wear my sunglasses. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Anyway, what else we got here? Van Jones is kissing the ring. Yes, he is. Japanese ambassador is a quietly prominent position. You're right, Daniel. It's a very important U.S. position. Absolutely. It's been handed out some real scumbags over the years. It's unfortunate, but it is a very prestigious position, very important one for us, too. Neville says the U.S. created a problem for themselves by saying anyone born in the U.S. is American. Well, that was an interpretation of the 14th Amendment. That's not what the 14th Amendment's really intended to do. It was poorly written. Yep. Absolutely. We create a problem for ourselves. I think the American dream is being a slave to a cartel in Arizona. Well, I don't know about that. Francois, is it calmer now? Are you still in the coffee shop? Didn't see any Scientologists at the Army-Navy game. Neither did I. Google RFK trip to American Samoa and subsequent polio deaths of children after his visit. Yeah, it is a great song. Okay, so that makes him crazy because people died from polio. Army got whooped. Yeah, they did get whooped. But one of my colleagues, who is a fellow veteran, has sent me this note after he's a Navy veteran from Vietnam, and he says after the thing, and then Courtney was on here too. So this is what he sent me. Let me find this message. He sent me a note the other day. He said, "I want to extend my sympathy to you, Commander," because I'm the commander of the VFW. "It's too bad that Army lost, and in all caps, and Navy won." And he's got 4 hilariously laughing emojis. And I said it was a sympathy gift to the less than 300 ship diminished Navy. Felt bad for them, to which he laughed with even larger emojis. Yeah, the Navy under Reagan was a 600 ship Navy, and now we'd have well under 300 ships. Sylvester Stallone gets perp art for Rambo. Possibly. You're wearing your Ray-Bans now, says Francois. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So this thing's frozen over here. The YouTube studio is just not working very well. My video for Juju Malema is up to just 108 views. First hour. That's not going to go very well. That's unfortunate. Bummer. But that's life. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Can't do much about everything. Why is that playing? Oh, it's playing automatically. Okay. Yeah, Army versus Navy banter. I don't care. It's funny because people think it actually matters to me. I didn't attend West Point. The U.S. Army football team is not a reflection of me. It's not a reflection of the Army. It's just an inter-service rivalry amongst people who went to the academy. I don't really care whether Army wins or loses. I mean, other than just, joking about it. Yeah, what about Bill Gates visits? Yeah. Anyway. Look, Arthur, my job is not to defend or attack RFK, just to report the facts. Do live streams bring you more revenue and videos, help with subscribers? Shawnee, it's weird. So live streams don't help anymore with subscribers. I get virtually no new subscribers from live streams because YouTube doesn't promote them. The only way people find out about the live streams is some people get the notifications from YouTube in the app. If they have notifications turned on and they have the app open, some people get that. And then the other way is that we have groups. We have the Telegram, WhatsApp groups, and people find out about it. The other way is that if the live stream is going live, YouTube might promote it once it's live, particularly if there's a lot of chat and if there's super chats like you saw earlier. We went from 60-something to over 111, 117 viewers when the super chats were pouring in because YouTube, the algorithms are always working right now. They're working in the background. So if I say some profanity, they'll probably, ignore me. And there's probably tens of thousands of people broadcasting right now live around the world, and it'll shoot up. The same thing happens to me in my rugby, my rugby coverage. What happens is that towards the end of the game, or when I get excited and I get animated about the game, suddenly the number of viewers surges because for some reason it draws people in. Let's have a full review of all vaccine approvals, then we can make a fair judgment for ourselves. Correct, Artie. Yep. I have tried streaming on X. Nobody goes there. Tony, I mean, X is a bogus platform. They still censor people. They still hide my content. I mean, I've been on X with the account, my primary account. It's not my first account. My primary account on X has been there since 2006, I think it is. Let me look and see. I'm sorry, 2008. This one's been around since 2008. According to this, I have 1,907 followers. 2 weeks ago, I had 2,008 followers, and I've lost 100 for a channel that's 17 years old. Give me a break. I have, how many tweets? It doesn't tell me how many tweets I have. I have 13,300 posts. 13,300 posts. So I tried to live stream on X. It just no one tunes in. I've done the audio. I don't really care for that. That's stupid. Where these people sit there and they call in. I don't like that. It's idiotic. I'd rather see people. No, it is what it is. I mean, I don't get much out of it. It doesn't do much for me. Yes, I have a blue check mark. That's correct. Yeah, here you go. You can see my channel. Hang on. There you go. Right there. There you go. So there you go. November 2008 for this account. 1,907 followers. Yep. And that one got 91 views. That one got 1,200 views because I showed a video. That got 336 views. This is all about Zuma and MK. 517 views, 578 views, 423 views. This one got 64 views talking about Reconciliation Day. Yep, anyway. Conscious Caracal gets thousands of views. I get nothing. It doesn't catch on. It just doesn't catch on. Twitter does nothing for me. I use it almost exclusively for finding breaking news or finding images or videos of news events because people are on the scene and that's why they post it. Arctic says X is an amusing sideshow, but by following good journalists, you get all the news Elon wants you to see pretty quick. Well, whenever anything in South Africa makes news, maybe you'll pick up more. Daniel, I used to. So back to, is it Shawnee's question? I think it was Shawnee who asked the question. Back to that. So I used to get a lot of subscribers from live streams. That's when lockdown was going on. There was a lot of people on YouTube, and people would mention me, and I'd go there. So when I did live events, so I was the only YouTuber, to my knowledge, that covered the first event in Senecal in 2020 when the Bucky was overturned at the courthouse and the SAPs nearly ran over civilians and drove a frickin' buffalo into the courthouse building. And then they arrested South Africans for domestic terrorism, which was bullshit. I was the only YouTuber that covered that event live. I did it from here, relying on Twitter feeds and people's comments and giving analysis. When Senecal 2 happened, I also covered it live. And in that stream, I gained over 2,500 subscribers during a live stream. In one live stream. I covered Brockenfell live. I got several hundred subscribers during Brockenfell. I covered the Phoenix rally by the EFF. I covered the EFF's nonsense about using the Sputnik and the Chinese jabs when they demonstrated in Pretoria, violating lockdown standards. I covered that. I covered so many things. And I got a lot. But I don't get any subscribers from live streams anymore. It just doesn't happen anymore. The only way I get subscribers these days is if someone refers them over, let's say Ronaldo or someone like says, hey, go over at Chris's channel's live, and I might get a subscriber saying comment. Most of the subscribers I gain now come from well-performing videos. But I haven't had any of those lately. In fact, I've gone from 20,162 subscribers to 20,142. I've lost 20 subscribers in the past week. Because I haven't produced any new videos. I just put a video up, and hopefully I'll get some more subscribers from that. But yeah, I don't get subscribers from that. YouTube is a fickle platform, but they have the best business model as far as how to do this, and it's free. I have probably terabyte of data on YouTube now with videos, and I've deleted a bunch of my videos from the early days. So and it doesn't cost me anything. People can go back and find it whenever. Yep. What's the comparison of Academy, Command, General Staff up through the ranks? I don't understand your question. What is the comparison of those who go to the Academy versus other sources commissioning? Is that what you mean, Michael? So the U.S. military, the Army in particular, but all of them have this. They have multiple source commissioning. So most people, 3 out of 4 officers that you see walking around on active duty are a consequence of Reserve Officer Training Corps, which is at a civilian university. It could be state-run universities or private-run universities. Like, for instance, Drake, which is in Des Moines, Iowa. Drake University has an ROTC program, but it's a private university. It's too small to have its own program, so it's a satellite program of Iowa State University, where I used to teach at. Anyway, so 3 out of 4 Army officers are graduates of civilian universities where they get military training, and then they enter active duty. The other 25% come from the Academy, somewhere between 800 and 1,000 officers commissioned per year from the Academy. And then we also have the Officer Candidate School, so enlisted people who have sufficient college education can apply, go to Officer Candidate School, a grueling 3+ month course, graduate and become a second lieutenant. That's another source. And then we have what are known as direct commissions. Anyone can become a military officer, you can just appoint them. But typically direct commissions are for people who meet certain qualifications like dentists, lawyers, doctors, that sort of thing, veterinarians. They become direct commission. But anyone can get direct commission. And back in the day, that's how, Civil War, that's how people became colonels and generals. They were appointed directly. People politically influential or politicians or business leaders, they were granted commissions based on that by the states and or the federal government. So 75% of ROTC graduates. So the representation across the board tends to be pretty consistent, with 3 out of 4 officers roughly rising to the general officer ranks. So for instance, Colin Powell is a graduate of Reserve Officer Training Corps, as am I. And so he became a 4-star general and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Did I answer your question, Mike? I'm not sure if I did. Okay. Pilots are not direct commission. Nope, no pilots are direct commission. They have to earn their way. Sorry. So pilots are not direct commission. They have to go through the commissioning process just like the rest of us. Well, why is the DA going woke? It can only hurt them. Because the DA was always woke, Leon. Despite Helen Zilla's book about going woke, which is on my shelf, despite that book, they've always been woke. They deny it. They're leftists. Leftists can't help themselves. That's what they are. Leftists are woke. Yep. It is weird, this whole McDonald's-Trump convergence. I don't know what you're talking about, Daniel. What's that about? The DA will blow whichever way the wind blows. Exactly, Marilyn. That's what woke people are. That's what they are. In Germany, they have excellent army universities. Well, we have excellent army university, too. DA are liberals, always have been. The Daily Wire is paying their employees more money than they generate. Who's funding them? I did some research, and the donors' funds show up over and again. Okay, all right, well, Arthur, you just said you did the research, and you know the names of the donors. So why don't you tell us? Don't leave us in suspense. You just said who's funding them, and then you said you know who's funding them. So who's funding them? It's weird. What the heck is that? Sorry. All right. Follow the money. Foreign NGOs and donors have had enough with the NCA, so they pay the DA now. Exactly. Yeah, they're not paying them anymore. Yep. Arthur Chokes says that Trump spearheaded the COVID vaccine project at warp speed. Yes, he did. That's correct. Had to pay someone in YouTube to rig the algorithm. Yeah, no, that would work with Daniel. No, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. I mean, if Elon Musk would take one of my more prescient tweets and retweet it, I would be famous overnight. If YouTube would make one of my videos, which deserves to be viral, go viral, be made. But they're not doing that. They fear me. And I'm nobody to them. Yep, they fear me. So I've just been told that the system that I use to observe what's going on in the veterans organization, the cameras are back up. So I'm going to check that real quick and see if it's true. Where is my camera app at? There it is right there. Let's see if it works. Okay. I don't see anything. All right. I'm looking. Nope, not working on mine. Nope. Nope, not working. Anyway. Oh boy, sorry about that. All right, so where are we at here? Yes, Chris, but it's Julius retweets you. The bot army will pay for all the shoes. Deserves to be viral. What does that mean? What does that mean, Pablo? That means an excellent video that's prescient, that's forward-looking, or one that's amusing, or one that has a unique angle that's correct when others are wrong. That deserves to be viral. I've got dozens of videos that meet that standard. If you had to select 3 other channels to be a guest on, what would they be? If the U.S. Okay, well, Joe Rogan. Okay, obviously Joe Rogan does a trick. Joe Rogan, Steven Crowder, and I don't know. I suppose Tim Pool. I don't know. Or no. I mean, just because it would interest me, take Tim Pool off there and put on the Lotus Eaters. I find them fascinating. Love it. If the U.S. inflation is down, how come prices are still up? U.S. inflation is not down, Arthur Chokes. The government's lying. They're using selective numbers and they're fudging the numbers. Oligarchies. There's no oligarchy controlling U.S. prices. Prices are a consequence of the fright put in the energy market, global instability, which has pushed up energy futures repeatedly up and down, and poor fiscal policy. The U.S. government has sucked $2 trillion. So this is pretty simple math, folks. in order to grow an economy, businesses need to borrow money for expansion. So I'm watching that show Gold Rush. So in order to have a bigger operation and make more money and extract more gold, they needed heavier equipment. Well, they didn't have the $500,000 to front to get the equipment. So they needed investors or a bank to loan them money. Well, if you go to the bank to borrow money as a business and you need $20, $40, $60, $80, woo, that's the most money I've carried in ages. The rest of these are all ones. It looks impressive, but it's not. So $80, okay? So you have $80, all right? And you want to grow your business. Well, by growing your business, by buying excavators and bulldozers to rip through the permafrost in the Klondike and to pay for the fuel, and you're going to hire people. You're going to have people work for you. So you're going to employ people. Now, what the government is going to do is it's going to go into the credit markets and offer credit that's guaranteed they won't default on it. That credit will be repaid regardless. Whereas you're at credit risk. You might find gold. You might not find gold. You might make enough to pay your bills. You might not make enough to pay your bills. So they take a risk. So you have a higher interest rate. Or the money's not available because the government took $20 out of the credit market to waste. Then the government took $40. So now there's only $40 for you and for the other people trying to borrow money to increase gold production or to put a new warehouse in for their facility or to fund their cancer research. Now there's only $40 because the government sucked up $20. So what happens to the remaining $40? The prices get higher. Your interest rates go higher. And those willing to pay a higher interest rate will get the 20, will get the $40. Then there's no money left to loan you because the government sucked up all the available credit. Then the government, in order to fund its deficit operations, increased the money supply by simply giving fake promissory notes, pieces of paper, to the Treasury saying, here, $1 trillion, print it. And digitally they print it. And suddenly the government has 20, 40, 60, 80 more dollars, and they borrow. And guess what these $80 are worth? Suddenly these $80 are worth just $60 because there's too much money. The less dear something is, the more valuable it is. The reason why Bitcoin is so valuable for suckers that are in the tulip market is because there's a limited quantity. You cannot increase it. You can break it in pieces like they used to do with coins and doubloons back in the day, but you cannot increase the number of Bitcoin, or so they claim. Therefore, it's more valuable intrinsically. Gold, all the gold ever mined on this planet by human beings would fill 9 or 11 Olympic-sized swimming pools. That's it. The entire planet. All the gold mined in the Rand, in the Klondike, in California, in Australia, in Russia, would only fill a handful of swimming pools. That's why gold is so valuable. That plus, people's fears, it's a reserved place to retreat to. That has nothing to do with oligarchies. Oligopolies. Okay, well, whatever, Arthur. It's the same logic there. Who weakened the regulatory body in the U.S.? Who spends millions on lobbying flexible politicians? Who isn't lowering prices? The mega rich. No, the politicians did that. They're corrupt. Bread, $1 4 years ago. Inflation averaged 6% every year. Bread now $1.30. Now down to 2%. Bread will be $1.46 next year. Deflation need exactly right, Arctic. And deflation can be disastrous for an economy. Okay, all right. Anyway, gold is made by an exploding neutron star. That's correct. A supernova produces gold, titanium, all kinds of metals. Yep. Only produced in a supernova. So you got to wait for a star to explode. Jeffrey Sachs has a different view, Chris. Yeah, and Jeffrey Sachs is a fool. He's an idiot. He's an overly promoted economist who doesn't know what he's talking about. I've read all of Jeffrey Sachs back in the day when I was dumb enough to listen to him. And I just saw that his policies simply don't work. Jeffrey Sachs' big answer to the world is if we all just gave $2 a day, there'd be no poor people. He's a moron. He doesn't understand the human condition. There will always be poor people. There will always be pedos. There will always be thieves. There will always be rapists. There will always be murderers because we're Homo sapiens and we're a flawed species who can think for itself but can also abuse others. You can regulate, you can organize, you control, you can minimize those things, but they will always exist. There will always be poor people. And the whole concept of giving everyone giving $2 so there's no poor is just moronic. How long do you sustain that? And at what point do they come up? All that you do by giving people money is you increase inflation and you raise prices. For example, if the minimum wage, if there's a law that says the minimum wage is $10 an hour, okay, $10 an hour, right? So now the government raises it to $15 an hour. So who is making minimum wage? Typically service industry people, entry-level people, clerks at a retail place, working the till, scanning things in a supermarket, or, at Pick and Pay, or, at Giant, whatever. That's typically who's making minimum wage. Or people that work in the food service industry, like McDonald's, like Wendy's, like Roman's Pizza. They get the minimum wage starting out. It's not meant to be a living wage. Those people are less qualified, less experienced, and working in a service that does not produce a valuable commodity or service, just an average one. So they typically make less. But if you raise their wage to $15, does that increase the revenue of the business that is generating the pizzas or the hamburgers or clicking things through a barcode scanner at Game? No, it doesn't. So what happens? The costs for the business go up by 50%. So you raise the cost of the business for labor by 50%. So your labor bill was $50,000 this month. Now it's $75,000. Now what happens to the other $25,000? How does the company recoup that? By raising prices. And by raising prices, they increase inflation as a consequence of increasing the wage to help the poor. Do you see how it's a losing game here? You have to allow the economy to grow naturally. You have to allow people who want to succeed, who have a desire to do something that's more valuable, more original, more creative, more useful to an economy. And then they will rise up from the masses. But you're not going to get that when you give people $2 a day. It's dumb. It's dumb. Gold is made by alchemy. No, it's not. Volvo reckons that by sponsoring and writing off all the heavy equipment for the Gold Rush series was their most successful advertising campaign to date. Really? I only started to see Volvo equipment in the third season. But it's been on for like 14 years, so I don't know what they did drop in a bucket, but thanks for sharing that. I just started seeing excavators, Volvo excavators involved. Best thing about Walmart, self-checkout. No pissed off Zulu lady judged me for buying 4 Red Bulls and 2 packs of condoms. Is that what you buy? Give them a chance to borrow the way out of debt eventually. Yeah, sure, that'll do it. Anyway, you guys are just having fun now. We're just chatting around. So it's Tuesday. We've had a little bit of fun. I don't think anyone else is on. I don't go to Durban's beach because it's feces. I have videos of myself on the beach, but I'm not touching the water. Not touching the water. Not going to happen. Anyway. Right, you guys are having fun. I'm glad you're having fun. That is a racially motivated comment. Is what a racially motivated comment? That the beach has feces on it? Why would somebody ask a question like that? Why would you ask a question like that, Pablo Charlie? What the hell is feces on the beach have to do with race? It has to do with malgovernance. It has to do with lack of vision by authorities in KwaZulu-Natal and in Durban. It has to do with the sloth and laziness of people throwing their rubbish into Arctic's comment. Okay. That's not a race comment. Yeah, no. 21 of the 23 beaches are E. coli free. Kind of. Well, that means the Patrice Motsepe's boat tomorrow. He bought a fixer-upper. Is it only a couple million rand? Anyway, 8 of 10 beaches in Durban are crap. Yeah, no, they are. It's. I've been there. I've been to the beaches. They're nasty. Arctic let it go. It's not. It wasn't a. He's just trying to be funny. So anyway, yeah. So he's trolling. Pablo's just trying to have fun there. He's not trying to start something. He's pretending he's Matthew Dixon. Matthew seems to be missing today. So Arctic, he's playing that role. Anyway, y'all been a fun audience tonight. I hope you enjoyed the program today. Kind of is being very nice. Yeah. No, I will not swim in that beach. They drink not Red Bull. I don't know about that. I can only drink Red Bull if it's ice cold, and then only if it's the blueberry or it's the red one. I prefer the blueberry. So, but yeah, it's nasty stuff. You drink that stuff at room temperature, you think you're drinking battery acid. Sun is coming out. Is it? Yeah, I see it now. Yeah. Mike is 2 hours east of me, but apparently we've got the same cloud cover because it just got bright over here coming through my blinds. All right, folks. Merry Christmas. The way I know I'm home when I land and walk past customs, the other ladies giving passengers crap. Exactly. Yeah, RFK might ban Red Bull. You might be right about that. You might ban Red Bull. Anyway. All right, folks. Take care. Go take care of your mom, Neville. And thanks everybody for being here. Congratulations to Leah, who has had her money restored courtesy of all your generosity. Thank you for that. And thanks for the super chats on my program today. Wow, we almost hit triple figures on super chats. We were so close. That goal was pretty interesting. I've been setting up my new PC, so I'll have to watch. Okay, Flash and cool. Anything on the other channel? No, I haven't put anything on the other channel today. I'm looking at doing a video about Pete Hegseth, but I haven't gotten around to it. And actually, I need a break right now. I've been very busy. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Make myself a lunch plate here in a few moments, and then just play Medieval for a little while. So my new laptop, I think handles the Hearts of Iron 3 better than my PC does. I've tried to run it. Looks like it'll run on there. So it's been fun. God bless and take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Just a week to go to Christmas tomorrow. All right. Have yourself a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. Cheers, folks.